Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the build. We are now on part 11 of our 1350 Enterprise build, so without further ado, let's dive right in. So I had a long and fruitful conversation on, I think it was Sunday, with Julian Drinkwater. Super shoutouts to him, he's been a great resource for this. And we had a nice long talk, and he pointed me in several right directions with the build, and he scolded me for some other things. But I was I was kind of on the right track with the pylons here, and he pointed out some other things. So what I was doing here is pretty much what he did on his. So that's cool. I still have to drill out that. I still have to do a little bit more sanding on these just to get them where they need to be. But that's cool. He also told me some things about the construction of this kit. He suggested I was going to build up from the bottom. Let's get the hole in here. I was planning to build up from the bottom. He actually suggested building down from the top, actually assembling the sides and the pylons with the strong back, and then attaching that to the hull. And then after some discussion, I told him about my windows, or not my windows, but my hallways, and he said, no, you can't do that, so I'm going to have to build up from the bottom. There are some problems with that, which we will have to deal with when the time comes, but that's how I'm going to have to do it. That's how I was planning to do it. He just informed me of some issues with that. So I'm going to get to work on the rest of my little hallways here, and I will be back when I get those done. All right, so it's Friday. Um, lots of building this week. Lots of cutting up styrene, very small styrene, and building my hallways. That's what I've been doing most of the week. This is our port side. This is the light blocking, or the evening out of the light, like I said I was going to do. It doesn't look pretty, but it functions. I still have some problems with this window here. I'm going to put it together here soon and just check and see exactly what I need to do there. Yeah, it doesn't look pretty. Nothing in there looks pretty. But the other side is all nice and neat. I got the starboard side a lot better, with one exception. This room up here is at a 45-degree angle. The rest of the stuff, as you can see, is nice and straight. This is at a 45-degree angle. When you look in the side here, you can't really tell too much that it's at such a steep angle, which is why I'm not going to bother pulling this out of here. So, I haven't light tested this to see where I need to, or what I need to do the lights in here. So I'm going to put it together here in a minute and do that. I also got my beauty lights installed. We got one there, and we got the one here, and the two on the strong back. Now these are open on the top. I basically I put a little super glue in there and held it into the position I wanted, and I hot glued that on the back, right? Just a big old glob of hot glue there. Flipped it over, held it with a toothpick till the hot glue dried, and then I went and I hot glued the rest of this and put a little bit more up here. Then I put Molotov chrome pen over that just to promote reflection out the front, and then I light blocked it on back. They're open on the top. I'm going to go back in here with some canopy glue and pretty much fill those holes in, and I'll just mask them off when I go to paint. It's the same thing with these things. They're open, but and they light up exactly where I want them to. They do light up along the pylon. I've already tested them. These two are pretty much perfect. They light exactly where I want them to and exactly in the same areas. These two are just a touch off, but since you won't be looking at both sides at the same time, I'm not going to be concerned. I think one of these is more of a light that goes up one of the sides. The other one is kind of more of a fanned light. I'm not going to be too bothered about that. So I'm going to assemble, tape this together, and put all the wires together here, and I'm going to light test it and see what I need to do with my starboard side, if anything, and what I have left to do on the port side here. So I'll be back when that is all together. Okay, guys, I was getting ready to get this whole thing together, test fitting it. I test lit it. The lights aren't super even, but I'm just gonna leave it. There's a couple of lights that are brighter, a couple are dimmer. You know what? I'm gonna leave it. Just because I don't know what else to do here. This side's a little bit better, but anyways, I was test fitting this all together to start assembly when I noticed something, and that is that back in here, the hallway on this side and the hallway on this side are too wide. They were knocking into this part of the shuttle bay. This is where there's little tiny rooms that go back. So I sanded that down and then relight blocked it. This is as far as I can get it sanded down without actually going into the shuttle bay itself. And it's still not enough. They still bump up against there. Let's see. Yeah, that's as close as I can get it. And it looks fine. There's a little bit of a gap, but it looks fine. But when I go to put the other side in, these splay way too much, and you can't get this thing on there. So that's the fantail part there. So what I have to do is tear out these two hallways, rebuild them to be smaller. They're going to have to be probably a third or half of that, I guess. Half of this is what they're going to have to be. So I'm going to tear these out. I'm going to try to keep them as intact as I can. He says knowingly. And just cut these walls, these bracer walls, and the floor in half. That's not going to happen. We'll pretend it can happen, but it's not going to. So I'm probably going to have to rebuild these too. So yeah, that is where we're at. So I'm going to probably not upload this Friday and upload this when I probably next Friday when I get all the walls done and everything, because it doesn't look like I did much. I want to show some progress, and I want to get these my wires were tangled. I want to get these walls on here, you guys. I want to get something going on. So I'm going to tear these out over the weekend, and we will see if that doesn't help us. So I'll be back when I've got these rebuilt. Alright guys, I cut down my hallways, and I already test fitted them in here. Now I have plenty of room. I was able to save the hallways themselves. I just put some light blocking on here on the back side of these guys. I'm waiting for that to dry, and then I'm going to get the walls in place. In the meantime, we're going back to our pylons here. We're going to cut our holes for our wiring to go through here. So I'm going to take my Dremel, and I'm going to Dremel out a little bit of a trench in here on either side so that we can run our wires through them. And we're going to have to run these wires and make these wires long enough so they go all the way to the front of the ship and come out there. I need 3 sets of wires, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a little bit challenging here. So I'm just going to slowly Dremel this edge down a bit and then Dremel out in here to see what we can accomplish in that area. So that's what I'm going to be doing, waiting for that to dry, Dremeling out my pylons. I'll be back when these things are trenched out, and we'll take a look at those. We'll put some wires in it. We'll see how that all works out. I'll be back in a second. Alright guys, I just got my trenches dug in for my wires, my pylons. Didn't have to go down very far there because putting 2 sides together, and I didn't want to go down too far. So it's about halfway into this section here, but put these together real quick, if we can. There we go. And as you can see, the big old trench in there. And of course the top didn't need anything because that's huge. You could fit 10 wires down there. But yeah, there we go. Nice and open. And I even went ahead and test fit some wires into here. It's kind of a mess, but yeah. You can see I have plenty of room. Actually, you can see I have more than enough room. I could fit probably 2 more sets of wire, at least 1 more set of wire in there. So I'm actually going to get some primer on these guys right now, at least on the outside. I mean, I don't really have to, actually, come to think of it. Yeah, because I'm going to paint the whole body at once, and these are going to be attached. So maybe I'll just sand these down when the time comes. So, done with these for a minute. Still waiting on this for dry. Got a few more hours, and then those will be dry, and we can get the 2 halves together. So I'll be back with that. Alright, these sides are officially glued on. And they didn't turn out too bad. I do have a little bowing inward. Julian Drinkwater, you were correct. But it's nothing that I can't just sand down. It's just a tiny step here and back here. The other side is worse for, reasons. More of a step on that side. You can actually see that step. See that step? Yeah. Oh well. I'll just sand it flat. And then we will have to add putty here. Especially up in here next to the windows, which makes me nervous. But yeah, we'll putty this in. And then there is a line here. You see these grid lines that go across here and down. This is the end of this kind of gridded area. So we'll have to putty it, but then we'll go back in and we'll use our microfile and sand it. Basically rescribe that line. No big deal. This back piece fits in pretty good. I'm getting a little bit of conflict with just right here. I could just carve off that little tab and then glue it into place, but otherwise it fits in pretty well. It just snaps into place here like this. I have to do more painting on this anyways. So yeah, the top is not attached, by the way, guys. This front piece is here just to line everything up, and so is the top piece. This is just to line everything up, make sure everything is a-okay. The rubber band should be obvious. They're keeping everything together. Yeah, we don't have our pylons in yet. So that is the next step. I've got my nacelles off to the side, and they're just chilling out. I've got them to a place now where I can just leave them sit. I still have to do some putty work, but I'm going to leave them and finish this off first. Wires. We have our wires here. We have to tie all the mains together, and then we've got most of this is mains, actually. I've only got one blinky flashy, and that's down on the bottom. So 2 of these wires are the blinky flashy. I'll find that. But the rest of this I'm going to kind of bring out here and tie together and down to 2 wires. I actually might not do that yet because we've got all this, whoa, dropping things. I got all this wire to tie into there, so I'm probably going to wait till at least this is together and the pylons are on. I'm not putting the nacelles on after this. We're gonna do the neck after this. I'm not putting those on, but just because I don't want to put extra weight on these guys. Also, I'm epoxying these together. I think what I'm gonna do, outside of epoxying this, I'm going to epoxy the top on, and we're going to epoxy the pylons on, because that's a lot. The nacelles are pretty heavy, and they're always going to be pushing down. The weight's going to be pushing down like this, and I don't want this seam to pop, and I don't want the nacelles to fall off, so we're probably going to use our 2-part epoxy on the top and the front. I really didn't need it too much for the sides, so I just used normal glue. But yeah, so I'm going to let this dry all weekend. just to make doubly, triply, quadruply sure that everything is set in place. I am then going to, I guess, sand up these pylons. I still need to sand them up to promote paint adhesion. I do use Rust-Oleum. I know some people out there are not fond or haven't had Rust-Oleum work out for them. It works fine for me for primer. Also, it bonds to plastic, which is why we want it. Still should sand your surface. Sand, then clean your surface. Make sure you clean your surface. You don't want any little itty-bitty squibbles to get in there. I'm not sure what that word even means, but you don't want anything to get on your surface. So, yeah, that's next week. We're going to be... I might even throw a coat of primer on this. I know I said I wasn't going to, but hey, what the heck. Maybe, maybe not. I've already got kind of primer on this. Accidentally overspray from the other side, but that doesn't matter. I'm still going to sand this down. So, I'm babbling. I'm going to stop. I apologize, guys. We're going to put the pylons on. We're going to get this hood down on it. We're going to put the front on. And I'm going to work on this guy, too. I need to work on this guy. I need to get some red, some transparent red in here, some transparent blue on the back side. There are little lights in here. I got to make sure... I think it's just these three little lines that you can kind of see if my camera would focus, but it's going to focus on the background because reasons. Yeah, focus on the background. That's there. Oh my god. Oh, for a brief second it was focused. Yeah, those three lines there are blue. So we just need to mask those off somehow. I'm not sure how. I do know how. And it's going to be annoying, but we're going to do it. So yeah, I'm going to get some transparent blue on the back side of these guys, some transparent red on those, on these. If I use this piece is kind of weird. As you can see, there's a little bit of a shelf there. It doesn't fit into place. I'm going to take some files to it and see if I can't fix that. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm going to do. I might put some plastic in there, but I don't know. I kind of like how it's recessed. Part of me likes how it's recessed, but part of me does not. It should be flush. See, got a little shelf going on there. And that's the part. It's not that I put paint on there. This is just a thin layer of paint. Just for light blocking. Anyways, so top on, front on, pylons on, backside on. That is our next week plan. Start prepping the neck. I've already got a little prepping done, but we're going to prep a little bit more. I was advised not to put hallways in there, but I may or may not. I don't know. We'll see. The hallways back here, I really thinned them out to get everything to fit, and they don't look bad. They don't look bad. They're like maybe 2 millimeters, not even away from the windows, and they still don't look bad. So that might be the way to go on the neck. I don't know. I'll think about it. But anyways, ramble. So I want to thank everyone for watching this episode. I want to thank all my old subs. I want to thank all my new subs. You guys are equally rad. And until next week, you guys take care.